Hello everyone, this is the Common King, aka WhiteRangerWins. Most people know me on social media as the Common King, and most people know me in the gaming community on PS4 as WhiteRangerWins. And I just wanted to do an in-depth look, breakdown, and explanation of Marvel Avengers the game, because I've been seeing it get a lot of pessimistic reviews, misinformation spread it and under a lot of scrutiny, and I want to clear a few things up as well as put y'all mind at ease about certain parts of this game, because it is very good and it is very fun. In this stream we will be covering all the C's: cosmetics, characters, combat, and camera. Let's get into and start with the most important thing that y'all have been raving about: the cosmetics. Now, as far as the costumes and skins go, I have unlocked a few and I have not paid one red cent. And this one, I actually unlocked this right here. Intergalactic. I unlocked this off the battle pass, and all I was doing was just playing the game. The majority of the skins that you get in this game come from just playing the game. You don't have to pay for none of them emotes, takedowns, or nameplates, because the majority of them come from in-game. And the skins, in my opinion, the skins and the outfits in this game that you unlock in game look better than most, not all, but look better than most of the ones that's in the marketplace, aka on the battle pass. Like, it's just various things you do. See this one: acquired from the cosmetic vendor aboard the helicarrier, acquired by making progress in the story. So you don't have to pay any money. And like I said, as far as the marketplace is concerned, with the outfits, the emotes, the takedowns, and nameplates, as you can see, I got a few of these, and I done unlocked them through just playing the game. Um, those aren't the important things. They're literally cosmetics that don't affect the game. The fact that the story DLC is free, the character CLD is free, the map DLC is free, and etc., which are the important game changing things that gives the game longevity and reinvents it, are all free. And I think that's fair and that's good. Now that we done covered cosmetics and talked about the whole microtransaction raves that y'all keep speaking on, let's get into combat. But we'll start with the first portion of combat, and that is gear. I will mention this a lot, but throughout this video, this game reminds me a lot of DC Universe Online. Remember, a lot of people say Destiny or Division. Let's go back even further. Y'all remember DC Universe Online? That was a very fun game. Had lasted many years, and this game has so many similarities, especially when it comes to the gear and loot system. Now let me talk about the gear and how it works. They have different levels of gear. They have green gear, which is the common gear. They have the blue gear, which is the rare gear, which I have on right now. They have the purple gear, which is the epic gear, which is a height above the rare gear. And then they have finally the gold gear, aka the legendary gear. And each gear has a certain level that you can upgrade. I don't have no green gear because, I mean, you're not supposed to have green gear on your character if you're trying to get the combat rating and level up and be strong on missions. You see what I'm saying? So now the green gear you can upgrade 3 times, the modded or upgraded, however you want to call it. The rare blue gear you can upgrade 5 times, as you see in the bottom. The purple gear you can upgrade 10 times, if you see at the bottom. And then also the legendary gear you can upgrade 10 times, if you see at the bottom. As you get higher, each gear grants certain levels of buffs and effects to each character and what you do when you use the combat. So the gear is really the most important thing. Combat rating and gear is really the most important thing about this game after the story, because once you start them war table missions, you're gonna die instantly from the weakest henchman at the beginning of the game if you don't have your combat rating right and your partner does. Now, which brings me to combat rating. Of course, combat rating, mine's is 127, is increased by getting good gear. Just like in DC Universe, they had the level, which is your character level, which the character level cap is 50, and then they have the combat rating, which is based off the gear you have on your character, which is your CR, which just like on DC Universe Online. And then you have your stats. Now, with if you want to be a close-up melee character, you invest in might, valor, and proficiency, which increase your close range. If you want to be involved in defense and taking all the damage and taking, you invest in resilience and resolve. If you want to be invested in long range and distance projectiles, you invest in precision, valor, and proficiency. And then if you want to invest in heroic rating, and aka your energy, your mana, how quick your mana and your energy come back, you invest in resilience, valor, and intensity. And that is pretty much all I have to cover for the gear aspect of the video. I really don't want to take too long, so I'm going to try to go through every category as quick as possible, because I know the world and society has very short attention spans. So next we move on to skills. Now, as far as skills, every character has melee, they have a distance attack, and they have their super and ultimate abilities, just like in most games. Now, here is your bread and butter, which are your primary, which is your melee, your repulsors, your lasers, and your rockets. Of course, this is character specific to Iron Man, but then these are just for primary. Then you have your specialties, which it incorporates a buffs and increase to your supporting super move, your assault super move, your ultimate moves, and your defense. And then your mastery is just a little bit of everything that helps your combat, your range, your super moves, your ultimate, and just in general defense and all around your character. So now that we done covered skills, let's move on to the next aspect of the video, which are characters. Now, as far as characters is concerned, sorry, I went to the wrong thing. As far as characters are concerned, let's getting to start with Kamala. We're gonna cover the characters and the roles. I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. I don't make YouTube videos. As you can see on my channel, I rarely make videos. So sometimes if I get nervous and choke up and don't articulate or verbally express myself to the best of my ability, it is because I'm not used to doing this. So we'll start with Kamala, which is the main character of the story. She is the healer role. If you want to be a healer, just like in DC Universe Online, then you go with Kamala. She have ability in this game, which is called Healing Spirit, which heals back all of her health and basically all of her teammates' health if they close by. What you want to invest in with her as far as the stats go, you want to invest in melee, aka your might, valor, and proficiency, and you want to invest in defense. No, don't scratch that. Don't invest in defense because she has healing ability. You want to invest in melee and you want to invest in heroic rating to increase your healing ability, which is a super move, which means in order to get that super move, you have to have your hero rating, aka your mana, up so that you can consistently keep healing yourself and giving yourself back. You can invest in a little bit of defense, but I would recommend mainly investing in hero meter first and melee second. You can't really invest. You can invest in her precision because she has the stretchy arms as a long distance move, but the reason why I wouldn't do it is because it's very limited in range and it's not to the quality or up to par the standards of other projectile users in the game. So I would invest in melee and hero rating for her. You know, and if you want to be the healing role. Now, as far as controllers go, we're going to talk about the God of Thunder himself, and we're going to talk about how or what to invest in his skill trees. Now, Thor, he is the king of buffs in this game. He has so many buffs, so many effects, so many AoEs. He can control pretty much space indefinitely. He can hit multiple targets on the regular, and he just has the best gear stats I've seen. Like, his gear stats are just wild and crazy, if you ask me. Of course, he have his hammer, he have his melee. I haven't really got so far with him as far as combat rating and level, as you can see, but he's the second character that I invested in a little bit of time in. And as you can see right here, I believe, Juntuheim's Tempest. I'm not gonna act like I pronounced that right. Channels that inflicts cryo damage. So there is this ice move that inflicts cryo damage and ice damage. You have the Muffleheim's Torment, which inflicts fire damage, as you can see displayed, or burn effects. And then you have the Bifrost Affelheim's Favor, which gives you like a health boost or a health increase. So like I said, he has a lot of buffs, he has a lot of elemental effects, he has a lot of debuffs, and he has a lot of AoE. And he is just the king of mana in this game. His energy basically virtually never goes down. Like, as you can see on here, his hero rating for his meter and energy is almost 700, and it's very early. The combat rating is 150, and he's almost at 1,000 already. So that lets you know that his energy is just so great in this game, and that's what you're supposed to invest in: his hero rating and his, well, really, he's very well rounded. So if you want to, you can invest in either his projectile or his melee. I would recommend going for the projectile and range rating, for the simple fact that Mjolnir is mainly used for projectile use. So hero rating first, precision and projectile range rating second. Now, that's if you want to be the controller role. Moving on, we're gonna go with Black Widow. As you can see, I have her low in level like Kamala, because I really haven't invested a lot of time in her outside of the beta. I invested time in her in the beta, but not in the actual game. She's like the little mini controller. She has the whole invisibility thing, which potentially makes you and your whole team invincible, because the opponents just will not attack you and cannot see you, so therefore you can just do damage for free. And it also, I believe, grants people a small power back when you do it. I'm not going to get too in depth with her skill tree because I haven't invested in her like that, but she has the second best projectile game in the game. She has the full auto guns, the machine guns. She has the handgun, which is Bullet Storm, and then she has the high caliber shotgun, or whatever you want to call it, which does the most damage. Okay, now we're gonna get into the tanks, and one of the people favorite, which is, we're gonna start with the king of tanking and the king of health, the big man himself, Hulk. I played with him a little teeny bit, not that much in the actual game, but a little bit in the beta. Well, a lot in the beta and a little bit in the actual game. Now, as far as Hulk, the main thing I want to get into it, you want to invest in is melee, and you want to invest in defense. His defense is his selling point. His health virtually never, just like Thor's energy never goes down, his health hardly ever goes down. He takes all the aggro, he takes all the damage. If you get dealing with a character that has very low health, which we're gonna speak on later, you want to have Hulk on your team to get all of the aggro. And I would definitely invest in melee. He has a nice projectile game with the rock and the meteorite, but it's highly interruptible. It takes time for you to pick the rock up off the ground. You see how much time it took for him to pick that up in the meteor thing that's showing? It takes a lot of time. So someone can just interrupt you and make you drop it before you throw it. So I wouldn't recommend investing in his range ability that much. Invest in melee and defense. Defense first, melee second, because you're gonna be taking a lot of damage. Because Hulk, they skip over every other character and go straight to the Hulk when he's in missions because he's the Hulk, you know. So if you're tanking, you go with Hulk. Let's move on to the mini tank in the secondary tank of this game, Captain America. Now let me say this, I hope I do not offend anybody. To me, he is my least favorite character in the game, and I do not like him at all. I don't like his moveset. I don't like the way he execute his moves or the way his mobility or anything. I'm sorry if I offended anybody. But as far as it goes, he's a very balanced, all around type character. But where he really shines, as far as the small characters, he has the best defense out of the small and normal sized character. He has extremely good base health. His base health, when all of this was below like 900, this was still above 100. He has very good health. His health does not go down, and he is the king of defense. When you block with his shield, you virtually take no damage and basically invincible. So for him, you invest in defense first primarily, and then you can invest in range or melee. It really don't matter. He got a decent projectile. He got decent combat. I just don't like the way he do things. I'm sorry, but he's pretty balanced. He's the underdog. You'll least see Captain America in the game. He probably very scarce as far as being played. A lot of people don't play him. Personally, I just think he suck, and a lot of other people do too. But if you into him and you play him, then definitely invest in defense. He's like the little mini tank that takes damage. And then finally, we bring you to my favorite character and everybody's favorite, and essentially the best character in the game. As you can see, in comparison to everyone else, I'm very invested in Iron Man. And as far as his move set, he has cons and he has pros. He is the DPS role. He has the highest damage output if you invest in the right skill trees. He has the highest in the most capabilities and just most versatility in the game. He just has everything, but how he's balanced out, where there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons. I will say this about Iron Man, he has the worst health in the game. His health goes down slower than every character in the game. He dies in about 2 or 3 hits, no lie. Even if you get his defense up, it still goes down virtually fast, even when it's high. I've seen people invested high in defense with Iron Man, and that health still goes down fast. So you definitely want to invest in range, because that's where all his damage come from, and you want to invest in defense. But for some reason, with the gear works, for some reason it's a very hard task trying to get my defense up while also getting my projectile game up. So it just switches and automatically giving me a high hero rating. But we'll get to it. Once I get to 150, I should have my stats the way I wanted to. Now, as far as capability and versatility, he has a little bit of everything. You know how Black Widow has 3 different projectiles? He has 3 different projectiles. I already explained. Well, I just showed you. I didn't really explain. Now, as far as repulsors are concerned, they do the least amount of damage. I will say they have decent damage, they have the fastest rate of fire, but they consume the least amount of mana and energy. The lasers, they have very limited range, but they cover a lot of ground, good for AoE and hitting multiple targets. They do decent damage, and their energy consumption is okay. And then brings you to my favorite, which I primarily use, is the rockets. They do the most damage. That is where most of his damage come from. You could potentially one-shot a lot of the enemies in the game with the right stats with rockets, but they consume the most energy, and their rate of fire is the slowest. And let me show y'all just a couple of things in his skill tree. You have the qualities and things that give him health back. He have a little bit of buff quality like Thor. He has flight like Thor. He has um good buffs like Thor, and he has good defensive moves, just not good defense. If that makes any sense. Like, he has good defensive move, just like good defense. Uh, right here where it increases your barrier duration. He has an energy barrier. Besides Iron Man, Captain America is the only one that can guard in this game. Everyone else has to parry, but Iron Man has an energy barrier. It literally takes the damage for you. If you upgrade it, you can pretty much reflect projectiles just by putting the energy barrier up. He has everything, just not good health, just not good energy. That's all he doesn't have. But if they gave him that, I don't think anybody will play any other character because he would just be the best indefinitely. So yeah. Now we done covered cosmetics, characters, gears, skills, roles, skills trees, and stats. We will now get into the final two aspects of this video, and that is camera, which I see a lot of people speak on, and the gameplay. So let's go to settings and go to options real quick. I've been seeing a lot of people complain about the camera and how the aiming works. You can change all of this in settings: the Y axis, the X axis, the camera sensitivity, the shake sensitivity, the camera distance, combat distance, the target lock, and the targeting assistance. All this can be fixed in settings. A lot of people don't know this, so a lot of people think you got to keep it default. I personally put all mine on 7, and then put the target lock on manual and the target assistance on heavy. That works for me. Now y'all can play with the different numbers and the different settings and see how it works as far as your camera preference, but this is how I use mine. And then there is a little mini feature that a lot of people don't know about, not just for photo mode but also for well, it won't let me go into photo mode right now, so I guess it's limited to that. But I guess I'll show that in another video. But let's move on to the fun part, the gameplay. Now, I'm only going to play a harm training room challenge mission because for the people that's getting this game, I don't want to be that guy that spoils everything. I personally don't like spoilers. I like being surprised, so I'm gonna do the same for y'all and not really gonna get too in depth with showing y'all the missions. I'm gonna put it on a 3rd difficulty so that they won't die entirely too fast. Maybe the 4th. Okay, this sounds better with. Okay, here we go. We're gonna go to the highest difficulty on the lowest mission because I don't want to be super interrupted or anything. I want to be able to show y'all everything I can. And sorry if this video is quite longer than you expected. I know people's in society, their attention span is very short nowadays, so if y'all want to skip to this part in the video, y'all can. And now we're just waiting. Now, by me not being a YouTuber, not being a big video person, I don't know how to edit or cut, so I don't know how to do all that special editing everyone be doing to just have certain scenes in a video. Y'all just gonna have to watch the whole thing, and yeah. So I'm trying to think what we're gonna start with. I think I'll start with the repulsors. Please, this combat is very in-depth, so let's start with the basic repulsor, which everybody use. Then let's do a basic repulsor combo. Do that. Now we're gonna do log-on repulsor. Just do a few of those. Let me charge it real quick. You can charge it. Alright. Aim's pretty good. Now let's move on to the lasers. Now that we're on the next wave. I'm gonna try to cover as many abilities as possible to show y'all that the combat is way more fun and in-depth than y'all think. Let's cover a lot of ground with these lasers. I told you that range is limited. Okay, let's do an air. I'm gonna hold it. You gotta be at a certain range. Let's parry. And let's do a laser combo. He just standing there doing nothing, so let's fight him. You see that laser combo right there? Now let's move on to my favorite, my lasers. Okay. Hit him with the regular shot. Where is, okay. You can, let me log on to target. Let's start with a basic shot. There we go. We're on to the next wave. Let's preload up this missile strike right here. It's like have this loaded up already. When enemies appear, you hit multiple times. You see how it's like an after effect and over time, and then you could do the javelin, which you hold triangle and shoot multiple of them, and it just juggles the opponent in the air. You see what I'm saying? Now we're gonna switch it up and do. They killed him already. Hold on 1 second. Let's wait for the next wave. Okay, I'm gonna do a missile combo. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not what I meant to do, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you shoot the missile that send him flying. Now let's do a parry missile move. Now let's switch to the lasers, do a parry laser move, which it has very limited range, but I somehow still hit. And now let's do the fastest rate of fire, which is, you see how quick that is? I told you they have the quickest rate of fire, the repulsor. So let's do it again. Yeah, see how quick that is? Ah! Now let's do on the next wave.
We got them all.
This is how we
Shoryuken! And then you could do the down move with that.
Why did you choose the wrong side?
Now let me do a rotation where I'm gonna go through the repulsor, the lasers, and the missiles all in one rotation. Repulsor, missiles, repulsor, lasers, then laser spin. So please don't say the combat. Oh, let me get a takedown. Okay. Please don't say the combat is not in depth in this paper thing, because it is. You just gotta unlock enough skill trees for you to optimize it. That's all it is. Let's do the laser logging, because I haven't done that yet. Let's do a flying laser. You see how you can fly? It's like a sprinting flying laser. You can do that. Now let's do the flying rocket while flying. He does like a little loop-de-loop. One shot. That's why I love rockets the most. They do the most damage. It's so broken. And remember, I'm on the highest difficulty of this. My combat ratings pretty high. Now the next wave, we're gonna do special abilities. Let me take him out. All right, we're gonna do that. Unibeam!
Oh, you picked the wrong ship. I'm beaming with pride.
And the R1 to hold it for it to last longer. I did a javelin, I was supposed to hold it. See how it juggles, and I love that. It's so funny. Now I'm gonna switch to the repulsors. All right, I was gonna do the. I'll save that next ability for the next wave when there's more targets. Where's another opponent? Yeah, let's fry him real quick. There we go. Alright, the next wave, I'm about to activate my second ability, my support, which gives other people power back, which is the arc overreactor. Arc overload, that's what it's called, sorry. And this is where you just spam. I got the buff set up so this reflects and stops all incoming projectiles, so I can just spam in this field until it's over. And as you can see, I killed about 8 or 9 people already. Parry. Shoot the missiles. Hit him with a charged up missile. Switch to a laser. Hit him from the distance. Juggle both of them. Come down, hit him with it. And carry him to the ground with a drop down attack. And damn, he catched on fire because I have a pyro buff on my my moves. Alright, now we got 2 more waves. Let's go with the Unibeam real quick. I'm not going to use it the whole thing. The longer you hold it, the longer it takes for it to come back. I'm going to do a little loop-de-loop. Alright, now in this one, we're going to talk about the defense. I'm going to do a defense react after I do a couple of takedowns. I'm going to let them hit me and reflect their attacks on a perfect evade parry. Oh, let me go to this guy. No. Ah, they keep going. Oh. What was I aiming at? Alright, now let me show y'all the defense. When you block and hold, that creates a perfect barrier. It stops the opponent. See how he ran right into it and fell down? That is so funny. I'm going to just put another one up. And it reflects projectiles back. And since this is the final thing, let me use Hulkbuster.
Have you met Hulkbuster?
Why they put it all the way over there? Alright, let's do a couple of melee attacks. I can hold with triangle and shoot the rocket hand. I could do the little drill move he did in the movie against Hulk on his face. The whole drill hand thing. And now I'm going to do a little football carry. Like it's like a touchdown. Huh? And now I will do a ranged projectile. And now let me show y'all the final move, which is the missiles. I just wanted to show y'all. Basically, it's one opponent left. I just wanted to show y'all how it looks. It's over. That's why I didn't do it on them, because y'all wouldn't have been able to see the whole thing. And that is it. It took 8 waves of opponents just for me to show y'all all of his moves. So that lets you know that the combat is way more in depth than everybody is trying to lead on. But I'm in the video here. This has been WhiteRangerWins, aka the Comment King. Thanks for watching my video. If there's certain parts you want to skip to, you can. Like I said, I'm not a YouTuber per se, so I don't know how to edit and cut yet. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope that this has been informative, and I hope that y'all will reconsider getting this game and giving it a chance. Be blessed.